You're welcome to the Policy Council. My name is Okwayemi Agbaje. This week we focus on the issue of regional development. In one of the early editions of the Policy Council, we spoke with representatives of the group that had just midwifed a development agenda for Western Nigeria. Today we investigate the issue further and speak with one of the drivers of the process to see how far that program has progressed. Enjoy the program. You're welcome back to the Policy Council. My guest today is the Director General of the Dawn Commission, the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria Commission. His name is Dipo Famakinwa. Dipo, you're welcome to this program.
Thank you, Okwe.
Please, for the benefit of our viewers, what is the Dawn Commission and what is it all about?
Well, the Dawn Commission is a necessary fallout of the process that the Western states of Nigeria have embarked upon towards determining and redefining their development process. Therefore, the Dawn Commission is what you can call a development coordinating body to midwife, technically, the process of delivering on the regional integration agenda being pushed by the states in Western Nigeria.
Okay, I know a little bit about this, but let's trace the evolution. How did you get here? What process led to the inauguration of the Dawn Commission?
I would say that the idea of regional integration is not necessarily new to us in Western Nigeria, because it follows, again, what you can call the development paradigm of our sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. The fact that we had the opportunity to work together as a region in the 60s gave us, some development heads up, which of course we must necessarily begin to reflect upon and see and ask ourselves, why was development possible within that milieu? And we have found it very difficult to match what happened during that period. Therefore, it became a very big issue, a very big concern, especially when we began to have governors in the Southwest who happened to belong to the same political platform, or the same, what I would call the same political persuasions. And they started thinking together. And you then found them talking about the fact that they needed to begin to look at areas where they could possibly work together, especially areas where they could build economies of scale, where they could build synergy, where they could begin to do things that would be best done in terms of efficiency, in terms of service delivery, if they did it together. The process of fashioning the development agenda for Western Nigeria actually predated the people in government right now. If you recall, in 2010, there was a summit in Ibadan. It was called the Yoruba Development Summit, where the Yoruba people met and decided that they would present what they called minimum irreducible conditions for whoever was going to be the governor or whoever was going to lead governance in the region. Part of what was considered as minimum irreducible conditions was that we must reinvent our education, we must reinvent our healthcare, we must look at areas where the governors who are leading the charge in our region must begin to work together. So the discussion started from there. And a group which I belong to, the Afenifere Renewal Group, took up the gauntlet and decided to look at how the process will be pushed forward. Therefore, the Afenifere Renewal Group gave the Yoruba Academy, a Yoruba strategy think tank based in Ibadan.
You were the secretary?
Yeah, I was the secretary of the Governing Council. Gave the Yoruba Academy a remit to look at areas where these possibilities, could be looked at. The Yoruba Academy came up with a study, and the study defined the areas where, these people could work together. And it also determined that it is feasible.
Okay.
So after the submission of the report of the Yoruba Academy, the Afenifere Renewal Group again put together a team which met at the Conference Center, University of Ibadan. It was a 3-day retreat, which
I was a part of that.
which you were a part of. It included what you could call a broad segment of Yoruba intelligentsia, many of them without any political inclinations or political partisanship. But what was top on the agenda was how to fashion a development process that could push the region in the right direction. At the end of the 3-day retreat, a document, which we now call the Dawn document, was fashioned. And the Dawn document became what you could call the strategy roadmap for how regional integration could be delivered in terms of delivering development to the people of Western Nigeria. The idea behind it was that whoever was going to lead the charge of governance in Western Nigeria must have a roadmap which they could relate with and see how they could find elements within that roadmap to transform the region. It's a lot of work, I must say, but it's something that we believe is doable.
Okay.
And that is why the governors felt that there should be a development coordinating body. Just like we have the BRACE Commission also in the South-South, that there should be a development coordinating body to midwife this process and ensure that it goes beyond what certain inclinations and persuasions could actually...
And that is what the Dawn Commission...
Yeah, that's what the Dawn Commission
is. And in effect, you were appointed by the governor?
Yes, the governors have asked me to drive the process.
Okay. Okay, let's take a short time out. We'll be right back with Dipo Famakinwa.
My name is Laide Awoyemi. I dey live for Lagos. You see as our new Lagos just define the good. Good thing good though. To go market now, no hard at all. Just pay. Sit down inside BRT box. Small time, you don't reach where they go. Hospital call, the full ground. And for me and my pikin where I just born, treatment now free. You look left, you look right. Them they build new roads, new hospitals, new schools, new things everywhere. Everywhere they shine, gone. We thank God though. But come on, I hear saying that this tax money will they pay. And then they used to do all these good things. Yeah, they pay my own tax too. Say they pay your own.
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
You're welcome back. I still have Dipo Famakinwa, Director General of the Dawn Commission. Dipo, so what happened next? Now we had this document, Dawn Commission was set up. You spoke about, off camera, about a technical committee.
Well, the governors in the Southwest, or the governors in Western Nigeria are very committed to this process, and they have demonstrated it in so many ways. Sometimes in July 2011, all the governors, and I mean all the governors in Western Nigeria, had a meeting in Abeokuta, and part of the decisions that came out of the meeting was that they should set up a technical committee which would comprise of representatives from each of the states. It's supposed to be a 24-man technical committee, and the technical committee is supposed to again push the agenda forward, push the process forward. 3 members from each state were recommended to be composed in the technical committee. In August 2012, the technical committee was inaugurated by Dr. Kayode Fayemi. By the way, I think the governors have asked Dr. Kayode Fayemi to principally drive the process as a single point interface with the commission. Yes, we have the Governors Council, but he is the principal interface between the Dawn Commission, the technical committee, and what is happening presently. Each of the states sent in their representatives, and it was at that the inauguration of the technical committee that I also, who happens to be a member of the technical committee, was asked to lead the charge. And so the technical committee, I must say, has been meeting. We've had meetings across all the states. And part of what we decided to do was to draw up what we call a final implementation roadmap. The final implementation roadmap is supposed to be the flight plan. Now nailing down the specifics of what needs to be done, the low-hanging you know, what you can call the nitty-gritty technical work. The technical committee went to all the states. We met with all the governors. They again shared their own views about the agenda, and all of that went into the putting together the final implementation roadmap. The final implementation roadmap, I must say, is ready, but when the technical committee needs to present the final implementation roadmap to the governors. I must say again, part of what the technical committee also decided was that we must push what we call a Western Nigeria Agricultural Revolution roadmap, which is to resituate us, as it were, to the fact that without agriculture, that agriculture could actually be the fulcrum upon which we can anchor a lot of our development processes. So we decided to make a special case. The technical committee decided to make a special case for agriculture and agribusiness. And so the document,
apart from the general strategy and the roadmap, you isolated agriculture.
Yes, I mean, just to make a special case for agriculture as a principal driver of the development process.
Let me ask you a controversial question, and I'm sure you would have experienced this. There's an argument about the role of political parties, and this was manifested in Ondo State, which is under a different party from all the others. How much does party affiliation play? What role does it play in the work of the Dawn Commission?
Well, it hasn't stopped us from pushing ahead with what we need to do. What I must say is that it is not a political agenda, it's a development agenda.
Precisely.
What we are interested in is to deliver development to the people of Western Nigeria. The politicians will always play their politics, but those of us who are also, you know, driving the process of ensuring that development is delivered must see beyond all of that.
Has the Ondo State government nominated people?
Well, it was in the technical committee was doing its work at the peak of the electioneering, and I think it was a bit distracted in that direction. But I must say that even if you listen to him when he was doing his campaign, he restated quite a number of times his commitment to the regional.
And I recall that his representative was at the launch.
Yes, his representative was at the launch of that. And you know, a lot of things have happened actually. I recall that in about 4 weeks ago, there was a discussion in Osun State on environmental issues in the Southwest, which was part of what the Dawn Commission is trying to put together. Ondo State was represented. There's a lot of noise out there for political reasons about what exactly is happening, but we are focused on ensuring that what happens is development, and whatever politics must be played actually must also be politics that lead to development, really.
Let's take a second time out. We'll be right back with Dipo Famakinwa. You're welcome back to the Policy Council. Dipo, let me ask now, what are your specific plans and programs? What's your role? How is it defined by the governors? And how do you intend to carry this process forward?
Well, I must say that there's a vision behind all of this. And the vision is to transform the region. But it won't be done if the actions are not concerted. I believe that the governors, in their wisdom, have thought that to manage the concertedness, if I may use that word, of the actions, there is the need to create a special body to manage that. And that is why the Dawn Commission has to come into existence. Now, like I said, the Dawn Commission is supposed to midwife this process. Quite a lot of work has gone into what has happened so far in terms of thinking, in terms of capacity, in terms of commitment and all of that, in terms of even stakeholder involvement in all of this. The body must therefore be able to harness all of that and ensure that there's a body of knowledge, or there's a body of what I would call technical actions that can lead to the development that we're talking about. So the Dawn Commission is supposed to midwife that. The Dawn Commission already has an office in Ibadan. The office is on the 10th floor of the Cocoa House.
Cocoa House,
yes.
That's fitting.
Yes, that is on the 10th floor of the Cocoa House, and we are in the process of making sure that we have a very strong organizational structure.
What's your legal structure?
Well, again, I would say that the governors are working on that. It's something that there's a memorandum of cooperation that is being developed, and that is what would eventually then clarify, the legal framework for what we are trying to do. But it's like I said, we have a lot to copy from. We have similar scenarios in Australia. We have one at our backyard there at the Brace Commission, so we could quite clearly copy from what has happened in those areas.
Okay. Okay, so this is all about regional integration, federalism. But there are those who are afraid that no, this is a shortcut. There's a underground agenda of maybe secession, different interpretations, different fears about flags and symbols and all of that. What would you say to those who express those concerns?
Well, I have a word which I would use. It may be a little bit offensive, but I think it's blackmail. We must be able to carry our development aspirations in our own hands. There is nothing secessionist about this agenda, and I must be very clear about that. The Yoruba are not asking out of Nigeria. The Yoruba are just saying that we want a situation where we can have our destiny in our own hands. We had seen it happen before for us, and we are wondering why we cannot make it happen again. It happened because the country was running under what we could call a proper federation. We no longer have what we call a proper federation, and that is why, and I will say it, I said it at the Yoruba Assembly meeting, Nigeria has become a limiting factor for everybody, not just for the Yoruba people. And we've got to begin to see how we can remove those limitations. And our constitution is not allowing us to move in the direction that we should move. It's not about the Western region alone. It has limited the Eastern region. It has limited the South-South. It has limited everybody in this country.
Boko Haram is an expression of frustration by the Northeast about the fact that they cannot develop
on their own.
Yeah,
so that is what this is about. It is not a secessionist agenda. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have any undertone of secession. The undertone is development. Our priorities are sometimes different from one another. What we consider to be our priorities, for instance, in Western Nigeria, may not be the priorities of the people in the South-South. May not be the priority of the people in the North. Everybody must be allowed to develop in line with their priorities. We have set our own priorities, and we are saying that we are no longer going to allow Nigeria to limit us. We will take our destiny in our own hands.
So in effect, this is actually an argument about true federalism.
Yes, this is an argument about federalism. I hate the word true federalism because there is no false federalism. It is either federalism or it is not a federalism. What we are running in Nigeria is not federalism. So talking about true federalism for me is trite. Federalism is what we are looking for. If we have seen federalism in Nigeria, Nigeria would have moved forward. We have not seen it because certain tendencies or certain inclinations want Nigeria to remain the way it is, which is very wicked. And we think it is when Nigeria begins to practice federalism that Nigeria can move forward.
Excellent. Let's take the final time out, and we'll be back for the final segment of the Policy Council with Dipo Famakinwa.
My name is Femi Durojayi. Welcome to the New Lagos, where things are improving every day. I work on the island and live on the mainland, but that's no longer a problem. With improved roads, I get to work faster. Sometimes I even leave my car and use the BRT bus, which is comfortable, fast, efficient, and reliable. After a hard day's work, the nights and evenings are even more fun. The streets are better lit, and the city is more secure, so I can catch my phone in peace. I pay my taxes because I want to continue enjoying the good things a big modern city like our Lagos brings. So it's my taxes that makes them real. Have you paid your tax?
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
You're welcome back to the final segment of my discussion with Dipo Famakinwa, Director General of the Dawn Commission. That's the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria Commission. Well, now we've been talking about this commission, but I would like my viewers to know, have an insight into the content of this agenda. What are the highlights? What do you broadly seek to achieve in terms of development?
Again, it is not to reinvent the wheel. The body of knowledge is available, but what we've tried to do is to narrow it down to certain clusters. We have what we call the pillars of development that we think we should focus on to advance this agenda. And those pillars of development include what we call economic development, the economic development pillar, the social and human development pillar, infrastructural development pillar, governance, civil service and institutions, then homeland affairs. And what we have done is to build regional actions around all these pillars. What should they be doing together to foster economic development? What should they be doing together to build infrastructure? What should they be doing together to develop education, health, sports, and other social areas? What should they be doing together to rebuild our governance infrastructure? What should they be doing together to rebuild our civil service? What should they be doing together to rebuild our institutions? What should they be doing together as a region, you know, to ensure that homeland issues are properly put on the front burners? And what I mean by homeland issues are issues that are fundamental to us, issues of federalism, issues of regional development and all of that. So we built actions around that. And what we have done at the level of the technical committee is to have what we call cluster development commissioners. The cluster development commissioners are also people who work in government right now. Some of them are either commissioners or special advisors to the governors in the Western region. So we have a development commissioner in charge of economic development. We have a commissioner in charge of infrastructure. We have a commissioner in charge of all of those pillars that I mentioned. And the idea is that the Dawn Commission will work with these development commissioners and ensure that the process
will liaise with their colleagues
across. And part of what has also happened is that each of the states in the Western region has also been asked to have a commissioner, a dedicated commissioner for regional integration. Some of them already have, some are working on it. And so those are the processes that are happening.
Let's take a slight preview into each of these areas. What some of the highlights? So for instance, in economic development, infrastructure, for instance, are you thinking of a regional rail line, those kind of tips?
Clearly, what we have done is to look at areas where they could create what we call big bang for development. Rail, for instance, is one area. We're also looking at something like a regional food market in Lagos, for instance, or in Ibadan. You can have regional food market built for purpose, for produce around. There's a lot of agricultural initiatives going on in the region, and they must find markets. So we want to build dedicated food markets. We want to build regional universities. You know, all of those kinds of things are things that we have in mind. But essentially, they must be projects that would have what I'll call a big bang effect on the whole of the region, and that it is perhaps difficult for one state to do on its own. That the states would have to come together to make sure that it happens.
What should we expect in terms of focused implementation?
I'm very committed to the process, and I think the people that we are in this process together are also very committed to the process. The governors that we are working with right now are very fair-minded governors. They are very concerned about issues of development. Government, bureaucracy, and all of that may be one factor that would contend with, but essentially because of the kind of passion and will that is behind this process. I think execution would be quite interesting, challenging, but it's doable.
Dipo Famakinwa, Director General, the Dawn Commission, Secretary, Governing Council, Yoruba Academy, a consultant in his own right before going into this assignment, CEO of Development Qualitatives. Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back. That has been the program for today. Nigeria will probably develop better in regional clusters. It's a big nation, 940,000 square meters or thereabout. 165 million people, 36 states, one federal government in a dysfunctional federation. It is unlikely that that structure will produce development. Perhaps the western states are onto a good thing, along with those in the Based Commission in the South-South, who have attempted the same model. Breaking Nigeria into a more manageable structure for development while retaining the national country. I believe this initiative is a worthwhile one, but we'll continue to track implementation. And soon, sometime down the line, we'll be right back examining how far the initiative has progressed. Thank you for watching. See you next time.